Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday's edition of Wealth Coffee Chat, Finance Friday. I am actually coming to you from a slightly different location today. I'm coming to you from Melbourne. We've just been here over the last 3 days learning at a Connective conference. So always getting the opportunity to increase our knowledge and learn from each other. So that's why the location's slightly different this morning. Morning, Kevin. Thank you for joining us from all the way from Florida. As I like to start all my Wealth Coffee Chats, today's joke is, why did the mortgage go to therapy? It had too many unresolved issues with interest. So today I wanted to talk to you about the deposit and how much deposit is actually required to purchase a property. Now, normally we are looking at like a 20% deposit and you get better rates, not the best rates, because banks do offer better rates if we're only borrowing 70 or 60% against the value of the property. But usually when we talk to clients, we talk about 20% because it avoids mortgage insurance. But you can get into a property from as little as 5% deposit. Now, currently, the 5% deposit means that you actually have to have the funds to pay mortgage insurance. And mortgage insurance is dependent on the actual loan amount. So if you borrow 95% of $1 million property, that's $950,000. Mortgage insurance can be up to 3%. Now, also with 95% loans, you generally have to pay that, the mortgage insurance out of your own pocket, and you can't add that to the loan. So a lot of times when I speak to my clients, if we're looking at mortgage insurance, the ideal number that we look at is a 10% deposit. Now, when we actually talk about 10%, the actual cost to the clients, the actual money that the clients need to put in works out to be about 12% plus whatever the stamp duty cost is. Now, the reason why I say 12% is that the mortgage insurance at 90% is actually a lot higher than it would be at 88%. And depending on what type of property you purchase, at 90%, you could potentially be adding a higher mortgage insurance. And if you were to take that amount and put that into the deposit, then the mortgage insurance difference could be thousands of dollars. And so when I speak with my clients, we say we're going to borrow 90% against the value of the property, but the amount that's available for you to complete the purchase is only 88%, and the deposit you need is 12% plus the stamp duty costs. Now, in regards to mortgage insurance, I just want to remind everybody that mortgage insurance is something that you pay to protect the bank. So the bank charges you this fee so that you can pay the insurance so that they can protect themselves from you. So you actually get no benefit out of paying the mortgage insurance. But we can look at mortgage insurance as a way to actually get into the market sooner rather than later. So potentially, if you wanted to avoid mortgage insurance and you had to spend more time saving, while you're saving up the actual 20%, the values of the property that you're looking at or the areas you want to live in could potentially have increased, which means the target that you're saving towards is actually moving. So if your situation enables you to be able to get into the market sooner, then it's always it's worth looking at the option of getting in and getting into the property market sooner rather than later. Now, interest rates at 90% will usually be higher. At 90%, the lenders who lend you 95%, the interest rates are actually even higher than that. So most banks now tier their interest rates depending on how much deposit you have available to use for the purchase of the property. Now, we have some lenders who will waive the mortgage insurance for certain professions. So like doctors, most people in the medical field, solicitors and accountants have these options as well. Now, it's great that it gives you the opportunity to not have to pay the mortgage insurance, but you still have to remember that the interest rate will be at the LVR that you're borrowing and not at the lower LVR, even though they waive your interest rate. Once you get into the market, and if you're looking at mortgage insurance, it's actually a little bit more complicated to move if you've purchased with mortgage insurance. Now, if you stay with the existing lender and you top up your loan and it requires mortgage insurance, then they will factor in the existing mortgage insurance you paid. But say you've taken out a loan at 90% and you want to refinance to another lender, and the loan at the new lender is only at 85%, you still then have to pay the new lender's mortgage insurance. So the mortgage insurance doesn't actually move between lenders. So that's obviously something to keep into account. When it comes to interest rates, always check with your broker regularly to see what the value of the property is, because the value of the property actually gives you a position to be able to negotiate better with the existing lender. And if they don't play ball, then reach out to their retention team and have a conversation with them by requesting a discharge, because banks know what other banks are doing, and it's always better to try to keep existing clients than it is to try to write new business. So LMI is a great way to get into the market sooner rather than later, and However, you do need to remember to constantly review your current loan, and also reach out to your broker, because they could access some property reports to give you an idea of what the value of your property is, and work on reducing that debt as soon as possible, so that you can go from a high interest rate down to the more, I guess, would say standard rates, or rates that are available to most of the public, or an 80% rate, get it down to 60, and you even get a bigger discount. So there is even more incentive to pay down your home loan even faster. Now, I want to share with you a scenario with one of my clients. When they approached me, he was just out of university and had just received his employment contract. And now you have some lenders out there who will actually use the employment contract and estimate his income. And obviously they've got a lot of data in regards to how much doctors are making once they get out of graduate university, and what a first year, a second year, third year doctor usually earns. And the banks are actually happy to use their figures for servicing, even though the doctor has only just started in the industry. So that's a great way. If you're in one of those professions, reach out to your broker to check out which professions this is available for. Because, when I did this loan, we didn't have to be in the job for any certain amount of time. We were able to use projected income as opposed to what he's actually earning at the moment. And they waived that mortgage insurance. So it was a great way for my client to get to purchase his first home. And since then, he's been able to pay off his debt a lot. He's paid off his debt quite quickly, and now we're starting to look at using investment properties to accelerate how fast he can pay off his home going forward. Kids who have parents who own property, and that property has equity, they are able to use the equity in their parents' property to borrow the full amount for the purchase of their property. Meaning that parents, regardless of whether they're working or not, can provide security to their kids to help purchase the property, avoid the mortgage insurance, and get really good interest rates. Now, a lot of parents are like, well, I'd love to help my kids, but I don't know how long I'd have to provide my property as security. This is similar to the LVR review, where the brokers and the kids can monitor the value of the property and the loan. And once the loan gets to 80%, you can actually reach out to the lender and get them to remove the parents' property as security. So it's not required forever. We have lenders out there who will do both first and second mortgages. So if a parent's still working, they have equity and they still have a mortgage, some lenders will go and put a second mortgage on that property to use that equity for this parental guarantee. This, I want to remind everybody that when it comes to lending, the lenders look for two things. So in this scenario where parents are providing security for kids, the banks are still looking at the kids' income, which is the main applicant, and how much they can borrow based on their wages or their business income. That is the first step, and if that doesn't equate to 100% purchase plus the costs on the new property, it doesn't mean that the parents providing the extra security will mean that they can borrow up to that loan amount. So two things that lenders look at in separately. First one, income is how much you can borrow based on your income. Once they've established that, the second thing that gets looked at is the security that is being provided and how much the lenders are willing to let you borrow against that particular security. And whichever the lower between the two is how much is the loan that you end up borrowing. Okay? So that's just a quick summary of deposits and how much you need to actually save to get into the property market. I wish everybody a wonderful Friday and an amazing weekend, and I look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye, guys.
Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6 Star team here at positivementor.com.au.